Hey guys, welcome back. I'm Joe Gaither, the host of the Joe Gaither Show on Bama Central. Most of you know me as talking sports, but we're not going to be talking sports today. I live in Northport, and it's a very, very busy and interesting time right here in Northport, Alabama, as municipal elections are coming up August 26th. I encourage you to get out and find your polling locations and make your voice heard. We're hopeful that this time helps you to do that or encourages you to do that, and as we're continuing to get to know the candidates for the Northport Municipal Election. I'm joined today by one of the candidates for mayor, Mr. David Crawford. He's going to join me. We're going to talk about his vision for the city, and I encourage you guys to get out and vote again on August 26th. Mr. David, thank you so much for joining me
Good
today.
to see you, Joe.
Absolutely.
We've been friends for a few years.
Absolutely, we have been. We go back to my days when I was not in sports media.
What were you into? No,
Uh,
never mind. We'll go. That's another go.
I serve
Another podcast.
I serve tables all around this city.
I know.
Many times it's a yes sir, no ma'am, and I'm thankful to be out of that
Oh
game.
yeah, it was interesting.
Absolutely, but I'm excited about really where we are in Northport. I've lived in District One since 2020. I moved into District One, and I've been, as many people have seen these others episodes, not very plugged into the local politics. It's basically been sports and my four walls.
Right.
But living on the internet over the last year and change, it's hard to not see all the conversations going on. And so, wanting to get involved any way that I know how, and this is kind of how I know how,
Well,
talking to people.
You said you were not plugged into politics. There's about 32,000 residents in Northport, of which approximately 20,000 of them are registered to vote. And I dare say this election will be 4,000 turnout, which is ridiculous for people to complain about what happens at City Hall, but they won't get out and vote.
Well, I'll actually own a little bit of that. I was in the middle of having some of these conversations with the city council candidates, and one of them said, "Hey, I want to send you something, but I don't know if you're registered." And I said, "Oh boy, I need to make sure I was." So I did go get registered, and the process was super simple. I'll be voting at City Hall on August 26th,
Good.
casting my vote, because I do think it's so important. You want to get on the comment section? Okay, no problem. But get out there and actually get to a polling location and make your actual voice heard, not just sitting in a comment section complaining about
Right.
A or B or C.
Right.
I'll just start how I've started all of these. Tell us about yourself, about your connection to Northport, and just kind of your background outside of your aspirations to be our next mayor.
Well, my wife and I moved here in the late 70s. We were working for the Baptist Children's Home. We had 6 teenage delinquent girls that we were taking care of. And after about 5 years, we served our mission there, and we went elsewhere. But I've been in sales most all my life. I tell everybody I've sold everything but cars and myself.
Right here in Northport, in the area.
Pretty much, yeah. Northport and Tuscaloosa. Yeah, I've lived some other areas, but I've been here since the late 70s.
And so, what's made you want to get involved in the municipal politics, and what's made you want to put your name up there? You put your name out there, everybody's going to talk about it. What's made you want to put yourself on the forefront of Northport politics and run for mayor?
Well, I've watched the Northport politics go up and down over the years. Bobby Herndon and I were friends. Dr. Hinton and I have been friends for 40 years. I've known Bobby for 40 years. And I think basically they did a very good job with what they had to work with. And Northport has grown from a little enclave that was attached to Tuscaloosa to really its own entity and its own defining personality. And I just want to help that personality grow as a community in the community and the community at City Hall to take care of our community.
You mentioned Mayor Herndon and Dr. John Hinton, and they served in the role of mayor. Dr. John Hinton appointed there. I'll just ask you, what do you think that they did well in the last term?
Well, Dr. John has done well in education all his life, and he has done a very good job as mayor. Basically, the mayor of Northport is a public relations job. The mayor doesn't have any real power to do anything. He can't really hire anybody. He can make suggestions, and he has no vote on the city council. He can veto a vote, but then 3 or 4, depending on what the motion happens to be, they can override him. So basically, he's up there to keep the ship in the right direction, keep things going in the way that the community would like it to go. And Bobby Herndon and I have been friends for 40 years as well, and I think Bobby did a very good job. Uh, Bobby's a good guy, and the circumstances that Bobby exited on were not the best, but you can't have everything all the time the way you want it.
What do you think your vision will be as mayor? I see on the truck side, and you've got the slogan kind of on your signs: "Make Northport great again."
Yeah,
What does that mean, and what's
that
your
was my
vision?
daughter's idea.
Okay, what does that mean to us,
Well,
and
it
what's your
seemed to work
vision?
for Trump, so she put it on there for me. Well, Northport is uh, it has a great deal of very competent and very good people living here and working here. And we're so overshadowed by the University of Alabama and your football team that you're so proud of, and I am too, that Northport just kind of gets shoved to the side a lot of times. It's not really out in the forefront. And I think a good public relations campaign for the area, letting people know that Northport has to offer incoming businesses. We have a lot of very reasonable real estate here for businesses that can purchase it. We have a lot of developed real estate with buildings already present on them that people can rent. And it's just getting the word out there. The real estate market does a very good job, but everybody wants to go to Tuscaloosa. So we're just across the creek. It's a big creek, but we're across the river. And we have all the amenities that anyone could want over here. So I think just letting the people coming into town, keeping track of the businesses, and making the business uh, progression when you come into town wanting to get into a business, making it flow a little better through City Hall, making the inspection department and the permitting system and put it more together in a cohesive instead of as fragmented as it appears to be from looking from the outside, and make it easier for a business person to develop a business in Northport.
What kind of businesses do you think Northport needs? I'll look around, and there's some that we're really happy for, but obviously you see on the internet, we want this, we want that, we want X, we want Y. What do you think needs to come to Northport, or what would you like to see attracted to Northport?
Well, I think another nice restaurant. Now, I enjoy all the restaurants here in town. Being single for the last 15 years, I'd say 75% of my meals I eat out or either eat out of a can. But the attracting larger chain restaurants to a small town is very difficult because they have certain criteria that you have to meet. The new Chick-fil-A out here next to Lowe's, it took 5 years to get that thing through Chick-fil-A
Yeah.
because they had to meet certain traffic problems and this kind of stuff. So, just wanting a big restaurant to pop into town is not a practical thing to even think about. But getting a entrepreneur to open a restaurant in town, an individual or a family, that's why I think the backbone of all local businesses, where it's located, is in the local businesses. And we have a lot of local businesses in the area that do have restaurants. And one in particular is Heritage House Cafe. The lady that opened it, she has 3 now in the area. So expanding some of the businesses that we have here, we lost Mr. Bill's. We've lost several restaurants here in town.
I know people that are really sad about Buddies.
Buddies is gone, but Philip and I were friends, and we still are friends. And a restaurant has its problems, as you well know. But I think the proper attitude is presented to the business people and in the community and outside the community, because to really grow, you're going to have to put your tentacles into larger communities in areas that really would like to not be where they're living now, not mentioning anything like Chicago or Philadelphia or Oregon. But there's people that live away from here that once they come here. Well, the University of Alabama, you meet and talk to people that are 35, 40, 45 years old. Why'd you come here? Well, I came here to go to school. Okay.
Guilty.
And we stayed. Why'd you stay? Well, we like it. We didn't even know anything about Alabama, except it had a football team. Well, we got more than a football team here. We have a lot of good people. Next question.
No, you're ringing my bell right there. Honestly, I'm coming to school, and Nick Saban's here, and I've been here
not here anymore.
exactly,
But
and I'm still here.
DeBoer, I saw him directing the band yesterday, University Band. He was directing the University Band,
And
which give him a break there. That's a good trick.
hey, absolutely,
Get a
yeah.
football coach in a band room.
And so, yeah, I'm right there with you, coming and have not left. And so I am proud of living in Northport. And I had friends say, oh, I went to the community forum on Tuesday. I said, I'm at the community forum, and I said, oh, Tuscaloosa Post. I said, we live in Northport.
Yeah,
And so, let's just keep it going, because the businesses are really the backbone. I agree
sure.
with you here. How would you, as a potential as future mayor, want to support the existing businesses? Yes, we want to attract new business and really bring X and Y and Z, big ideas. But there are existing businesses here in Northport. What's the best way that City Hall can really support the existing businesses in Northport?
I would like at least a quarterly business owner or business manager meeting at City Hall. Afternoon meeting, cup of coffee, donut, and just chat, because there's a lot of businesses that can benefit by bringing in other businesses that either they can support with what they produce, or maybe they need a business that produces something that they need that they can support them.
Mm-hmm.
And you don't know that, but without knowing the business people, knowing your business community. I don't mean knowing them. I mean actually being able to talk with them and see what they need. I know quite a number of business people here in town. One that just moved his glass doctor shop from Tuscaloosa to Northport, and he loves it. Bruce is doing a good job here. Bruce has got 4 shops around the state, and he has people that he would like to see in town that support his business. There's many other businesses like that. I know a lot of the business people here in town. Bruce just happened to came to mind because he's my newest buddy in the business that I know. But without the communication with the business people, you really don't know what they need.
Mm-hmm.
And as well, you might have a business group that say, we don't need any more of our type businesses in town because we're tapped out. We've got 4 widget makers in town. We don't need any more widget makers in town. So let's don't encourage any more widget makers in town, because we don't deplete the revenue that the businesses are here. But without talking to these people, you don't really know that. And most business people don't have time to go to the council meetings and go to the financial meetings and all this kind of mess. So, just a meet and greet once a quarter on the City Hall's dime. We got a dime or two because City Hall is very good financial position. Our bond rating is very good. Our finances are in good shape. And I think basically a business group and have a business person, a better word, I think, would be a concierge that can work with the businesses. And when a new business comes to town, knocks on the door, we want to go in business here. Okay, here's what you need to do. I want to get with all the department heads, let them produce paperwork stating this is what you need to do to complete and get your certificate of occupancy for your business.
Yeah.
Give it to them in writing. Get all the departments to do it in writing, and then consolidate those so you got one consistent pamphlet that you can give to every business person that they know, if I'm going in the manufacturing business, I'm going to make rubber boots. Then you know exactly what you got to do to get your certificate of occupancy for the rubber boot manufacturer.
Yeah.
And have somebody that you can talk to that can lead you through and guide you through the bumps and knocks of City Hall, because no one person at City Hall knows everything that needs to be done. The mayor, the council, nobody. And that's part of the mayor's fault, because it should be his responsibility to make sure that entire City Hall works as a community, a common unity. I picked that up at church Sunday. I have to give Pastor Mark that credit for that, because that just triggered me real when he said community is common unity. Well, that's what we need at City Hall. That's what we need at the council. That's what you need at your family. It's community within your family. And I think that's missing here in town.
Man, Mr. David, you're hitting a lot of things that we'll go offshoots on all of them. We're talking to David Crawford. You guys can vote on August 26th in the Northport Municipal Elections. And I really encourage you to make plans to get out and vote in these elections August 26th. The last turnout was really, really poor, and I think that we can do much better as as a city. Making our voices heard. So we'll just take you right from some of these some of these offshoots or some of these comments and go right into really in City Hall. A lot of people, things that I'm reading online are mad. Oh, they're not listening to us, or we can't speak to them, or we don't know what's going on. How would you want to encourage the relations? You already said the mayor is a public relations kind of officer. How would you want to encourage the communication, or really just the relationship between the public and City Hall?
Well, I want to blame part of that on the public because the only time they get involved is when they get something going on that they don't like.
Sure, definitely, I agree.
You know, as long as you and your wife are getting along, it's fine. But when one of them comes up with something they don't like, then that causes conflict. So when you're electing your city officials, mayor and city councilman, uh, they're not just a square on a ballot or picture on a billboard. You need to know that person. If you get a chance to sit down and talk with that person, so as in a family or a community, when something comes up for vote at City Hall, you already know what the answer is going to be because you know the people in City Hall that are voting for it. So you B and C is no thing to do, bitches and complaints, if you're not involved in the discussion.
Yeah.
So this open meetings and all this kind of stuff, that's fine. You can have all open meetings you want to, but you have to go to them to find out anything about them. And you can read it on the internet, you read a newspaper, or you can listen to your neighbor. But unless you hear it firsthand and you know the people that own the council that you are speaking with, that's the only way that you're going to really be able to know what's going on and register to vote. Like I said, this is probably going to be decided by 4,000 people out of 20,000 registered voters. I don't want to hear Jack Doodle out of the other 16,000 that didn't vote.
Absolutely.
But they're the ones that's going to be doing the being and seeing. I'm glad this is not on air.
Well, no FCC's here. Absolutely. And I used to say when I was on the, and maybe it wasn't true, but if you, I said you can use bitch sporadically and you got to be real careful. You can't use it all the time. And all my students would say you can. I said only sporadically. You get about one a week, maybe.
Yeah. Well, I've already run the 3 down.
That's okay. That's all right. No, we're talking to David Crawford, and I want to take you from transparency back towards economics because really, this whole election seems to be centered around people's feelings about University Beach, and it's we've talked to all the city council candidates already, and this will all be released. The mayor's conversations will be released on Saturday morning. All together, we're going to ask them kind of the same question. So I'll just throw it right to you as mayor's candidate. What's your thoughts on University Beach? People have been confused about what it is. Will it be a water park? Will it be an economic development? Will it be a neighborhood? Will it be all three? Just kind of take us into your mind and your feelings on University Beach project as a whole.
Well, the University Beach project, I think the biggest problem with the whole inception of the thing was the way it was kind of handled. It was not transparent, to say the least. The University Beach project is best I can understand, the best I feel, is probably a done deal. The city council in office right now, that's done deal. I mean, it's not like the city council in there now can go in there and breach the contracts. It was not an executive order that can be reversed. It was a contract between the development company and the city of Northport. And certainly the mayor's office, he doesn't have a dog in his hunt. He didn't have, all he could have done was vetoed it. And that could have been overridden. But in this case, it would take 4, I think, rather than 3. But again, I go back to the fact that if you don't know the people that you're putting in office, don't complain about what they do. I would hope that by the time I'm in there or shortly thereafter, I will personally know the council people well enough to know that I won't have to go to the meetings because the meeting is be held. They'll vote, and I'm going to know how they're going to vote without them ever saying a word because I know the person and know how they deal with their life and their society, how they've dealt with their past and their future. So University Beach, I think, can probably be a good happening for the city, but the city's going to have to get behind it. Now you got the softball fields down on the river. Uh, that's kicking up this weekend.
That's one of my questions. You can lead us right into it,
I have
please.
never seen a drone show, an aerial drone show. So I'm gonna make that one. It's 8:30 at night. It's getting close to my bedtime, but I can stay up later. Mama said I could do that. But I think the baseball situation and some development on the river down there it will be very good. And I think looking forward down the road 15, 20 years, I think we're going to look back at this and say, hey, that really wasn't such a bad idea after all. Because you really need something to draw people into the community. Now, as far as directly the water park, I don't really know. I don't think anybody actually knows. But if you had somebody that actually knew, he could get a lot better job than what he's got right now. Because the business world at any level is a guess, a educated guess.
Yeah.
And I think the University Beach organization will probably be okay. I can't guarantee that, and I can't stop it. So, and neither would I try to stop it because it was voted on by the council, of which was elected by the community. So, don't be and see it. You put them in there.
I'll see you on Saturday at the drone show. Went to July 4th. I was in Nashville, and they put a drone show on over the river. It was wild. It was incredible. So I hope that it.
I want to see the people that program
those things. They're a lot smarter than I am.
Well, the thing is, they're not even programmed. Some of them operate autonomously. They just put it in a computer. It knows what to do.
They put up the drones formed basically the logos of U.S. Army, Marines, Navy, all kinds of, and they even have a Space Force logo up there. They just light up in the logo, go off lights, make a new logo. It was beautiful. It was crazy. Yeah. And then they all went away and fireworks started. It was nuts. So I'm looking forward to River Run Park on Saturday.
Cost us a penny. I don't know who does the drone shows around here, but I'm sure that's going to cost a chunk.
Well, that's okay. I think the River Run Park is something that maybe we can all be unified.
Well, if you don't know it's there, you don't even know it's there because you can drive down Fifth Street, Fifth Avenue, whatever it is, and it's over there, but you can't see it. All you see is a big pile of dirt on each side of the road.
Well, and so we'll look forward to seeing the kids play baseball and softball over there and how it does impact the community. One more offshoot from your answer, 2 answers ago, you talked about community, common unity, and I'm asking all the mayor's candidates, really, what is Northport? What does it mean to you? What does the community mean when I say, you get people, well, that's not Northport, that's not who we are, or this is who we are. So, David Crawford, what is the city of Northport? What are the common threads, or what does the Northport community? What defines Northport?
Well, I think the businesses really have quite a bit of control over what happens in Northport and the attitude of the business people here. The more local business owners you've got involved in the businesses, the smile that you get when you go through Chick-fil-A. You can almost go to a restaurant or somebody or another business, and you can wait. The person that waits on you can almost tell where they worked in high school by their attitude about just general attitude. If they worked at Chick-fil-A, I'm not promoting Chick-fil-A, but I like Chick-fil-A. I like McDonald's too, but not as well as Trump does, I don't think. But just so many people move into the area and they don't even know their neighbors. So there used to be a welcome wagon. You ever heard of welcome wagon?
Heard of it.
Welcome wagon was a little group of people that put together little packets, and it was paid for by the advertisers. They would go to the person's house and leave them a packet of coupons and everything for for all the businesses in the community.
Sweet.
Well, I think if we have a booklet or something available at City Hall, not necessarily a paid booklet, but listing, just, well, if I want to get a part for my car, where can I go to get a part for my car? There's about 5 or 6 parts places in town. A couple, 3 of them are locally owned. A couple, 3 of them are corporate owned. There's benefits for both.
Sure.
Glenn Crow's a friend of mine. I'm gonna go to Glenn and get him my parts. He's been here forever. I mean, Glenn's about my age. I've known him about that long. But it's you get to know people in the area and get to know your neighbor. We just moved into Northwood Lake, and I haven't met all my neighbors yet, but I met several of them. But people move into town, and you don't wait for them to come knock on your door. Go knock on their door. Say, "Hey, I'm Dave Crawford. I'm your new neighbor." You're new to them, but you're not new to the community.
Sure.
So, and I used to get lots of complaints from friends of mine, and we'd be out eating or something, and I'd meet somebody, and within 5 minutes, I knew who they were, where they were from, what their mama did, what their daddy did, and what they were doing. Why have you got to know all this about you? I don't know. I just communicate with somebody better if I know them.
I'm much more likely. I don't mind. Sorry to interject, but much more likely to spend money with somebody that I know.
Sure. If I get a chance to go someplace where somebody that I've met or that I know, like when I'm at a restaurant, my waiters, I pretty much get to know. I would go back to the same restaurant for the same waiter, and I don't mind asking for the waiter or the waitress because they've done a good job, and I like to tip.
Well, let's talk about really another big picture item that people are always up in arms about, and it's education. Northport has 10 schools in the area. Now it's the Tuscaloosa County school system, so there's no Northport school system. But people always are, you read it online. We got to do more for our kids, or we got to do better for our teachers. When you see comments like that, and really suggestions, we got to do more for the schools. What do you think the mayor can do, or what do you think that we should be doing as a municipality for the 10 schools that are in Northport?
There's been discussion for years and years about a Northport City school system. Now, if we had a Northport City school system, we would have to take a part of the county school system away to become Northport City school system because we can't build new buildings when they're already there. So both my girls finished that county school system. They've both done fairly well in life so far. And I think the county school system here is good, but it's not what you get out of the county school system that's so important as to what you put into the county school system. The parents of the kids. I mean, the parents run the school systems, and when there's a lack of parental control, you have lack of control in the schools. So you can do whatever you want to with the schools, but unless you can figure out how to educate the parents about the school system, you can build a big charter school and put 600 or 700 kids in it, and everything would be fine. But guess what? The kids that are not in that charter school are not going to do as well as the kids that are in the charter school. And I think part of that is because of parental participation in all the schools. My parents were involved in my education at Gordo High School.
Go Green Wave.
In the 60s. But because they knew my teachers. They knew the principal. How many of the parents know their teachers of the kids? How many of the parents even know the principal's name? And for that, the Board of Education. Can any of them even know anybody that's on the Board of Education? So you can't just get involved in a school and make a decision on an issue. Well, we need a private school system in Northport. Well, if you're going to duplicate the same thing you got, what's the point of spending the money? Now, I may have just aggravated a lot of people with that, but that's the way I feel. Bigger government is not the answer to everything.
Sure. So, Mr. David, we're talking to David Crawford, and you can vote for him on August 26th is at the Northport Municipal Elections. We're trying to get everybody out to the polls so that you can be involved in your community. We've talked about education just now. We've talked about new economic development and supporting existing economic development. We talked about University Beach a bit and transparency in local government. What do you think that I should have asked you, or is there any big area that you think, oh man, when I win the mayor's election, I'm going to be doing this or that? What do you think is a topic that you think we need to tackle before we finish?
Well, the new I-82 out here,
Sure.
Interstate 82. I really, man, the state, it took them a lifetime to get it straightened out, but the traffic pattern on 82 is so much better now. But you got to get to it. You got to get out of the neighborhoods to I-82 to get to where you're going. And so many of the neighborhoods, the larger neighborhoods of Vestavia Hills, Northwood Lake, Indian Lake, all the neighborhoods, they have expanded over the last 35, 45, 50 years, and they just keep adding streets and adding stop signs and adding speed bumps. But there's been no cohesive study of traffic flow in the neighborhoods.
Yeah.
You pull up to an intersection, you got a four-way stop. One block down, you got a two-way stop. Same type of intersection, but it's a two-way stop. Next one down has no stop signs at all, and you got a speed bump. What's the speed bump in Northwood Lake? The best you could do is 35 miles an hour in Northwood Lake. You don't slow down to zero across the speed bump. Why? And if you happen to have an emergency ambulance vehicle, fire truck or ambulance, a speed bump will do $50,000 worth of damage to a front end of a $250,000 piece of equipment. If you hit that speed bump doing 25 or 35 miles an hour, you got to slow it. It decreases your response time of your emergency people.
Sure.
To get to my house because I've got a heart attack.
Every second matters.
Yeah. And if you got 3 or 4 vehicles, it's going to have to go over 2 or 3 speed bumps to get there. You cut your travel time by 5 minutes. Yeah. And there's just so many. There are some speed bumps that are available. But I go back to Northwood Lake because I live in Northwood Lake. I've not seen a speed limit sign in Northwood Lake. It's commonly observed that in a residential section, the speed limit is 25 miles an hour.
Yeah.
It's hard to stay above 30 miles an hour in Northwood Lake, but there's no speed limit signs. Okay, if you want traffic to slow down, put some speed limit signs. Get rid of the rubber bumper speed bumps, and pass out some tickets for people speeding in Northwood Lake. And if ambulance comes through, you're not going to stop him for speeding. He can go on down the road. But that's one thing. The traffic study for the entire city to better feed our I-85 new corridor we've got going here. That's about the only thing I can think of that I think would be really good to spend some money and some time studying is to get the traffic flowing better. The bridge situation, I left south of town. It took me 35 minutes to get here from Hillcrest area. There was a school bus stranded in the middle of the traffic. Okay, first of all, you can't get to it with a wrecker because you got traffic everywhere. There's not a whole heck of a lot you can do about that.
Yeah.
There's only so much traffic you can handle. And you cannot build a highway to handle traffic at an optimum all the time because you can't build enough roads to handle 4 o'clock traffic 24/7. You'd have a 25-lane highway going through here, but nobody would use it except for 45 minutes during the day.
Right.
So traffic is a problem everywhere, not just here. Birmingham, Atlanta is in a constant, they build in roads 24/7 over there. The biggest speed problem in Atlanta is building more roads. And I think our traffic here it's pretty good shape. I just don't travel I have the luxury of not traveling when everybody else has to travel. But that's why I think that the traffic situation would be need some work on it.
Well, David Crawford, I really appreciate you joining me today, talking about all these issues that our city faces. I'll just leave you the last word if you want to address your future constituents. I want to encourage everybody to get out and vote August 26th in the Northport Municipal Elections.
Well, the one thing I'd like to say is get to know the people that you're voting for. Don't just let it be a mark on the ballot or a picture on a billboard. Uh, give them a call. Give me a call. Drop me an email, david@maxmailing.com or David at, I don't know what my email address is, but, or give me a call. 205 310 5074 is my cell phone number. Now, you'll be blocked. You won't get through. But if you'll leave me a text message, I'll call you back on it. I get too many random calls. When you get to Medicare age, everybody wants you on the Medicare list.
We want to sell you this. We want to sell you that.
Oh, yeah.
Well, Mr. Crawford, thank you so much for joining us. We want to encourage everybody to get out August 26th. We'll see you at the polls, and we've had a great time getting to know you today, and I wish you best of luck with everything.
Thank you, Joe.
Absolutely. We're going to continue to get to know all our candidates, and we hope to see you on August 26th.